designers aren't artists. It is more like a craftsmanship. Got into design when I was 14. Nobody's seeing you as a person. They only see like the portfolio. You thought that I would be in carpenter. Everybody is telling you, you will find a job. You will find a job. Old, minimalistic, yellow. Life balance in design.
What you're about to hear is the story of an up-and-coming furniture designer. His wins, misses, struggles, but also the inside of his mind. This is the life of design of Fynn Stolt. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I know you since, I think even before I came here, because...
Yeah, I think we majored in your...
Entry exam.
Yeah, in the
exactly.
exam.
You guys prepared the buffet. Because you were one semester above me. Maybe you can tell about who you are.
I'm Fynn Stolt. I'm 25. I grew up in Kiel, and I have a big passion for furniture design, and I studied, like you said, at the Matthias Academy of Fine Arts, industrial design. I finished my bachelor degree last year, and afterwards I went to Copenhagen for an 8-month internship as a product developer and designer. Please wait to be seated, a furniture company over there. And now I'm here in Kiel again for my master degree.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
So you're coming back to Matthias?
I will get the information next week.
Okay, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So the origin story. A lot of people have some kind of origin story with how they came to design. Some have like a parent which was creative or like some kind of key memory.
Yeah.
So what was it for you?
My parents are absolutely not creative. I'm not from a creative family. I got into design when I was 14, very early. It was the time where we had to search an internship at school, and in 2012. And I was searching for something with art because for some reasons my parents are not into art, but I grew up with a pencil in my hand. I always had a pencil in my hand. I drew on the walls and stuff like that. Sorry, parents. And when I was thinking about what kind of job is out there and is connected to art, I stepped over the industrial design company Müller-Romka.
Oh yeah, here in Kiel.
Here in Kiel, yes. And I just took my sketchbooks and went to them and asked for an internship, and they said yes, and so I got my first fictional project. It was some speakers. I was able to choose my project by my own, and I could remember my father had like very cool speakers, portable speakers, where it was like a pill where you can unscrew and then you have like 2 speakers.
Oh, that's nice.
And I really liked this idea and redesigned them in my own style a little bit, or like my own style with 14. And that was the moment where I really thought like, oh my God, this is like the shit I want to do.
It's amazing. It's so early on. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I think I did my internship in like a kindergarten or something. Like, it was good because you had to do it. But yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't want to do something like everybody else was doing. Everybody was going to the parents' job or going to the kindergarten or to another school or something like that. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to find something real, and which is very interesting. I've never heard about something like that, and I was like, I want that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So maybe let's go over the rest of your life story from there, because I imagine a lot of things happen from there to now. So maybe we can go over the key moments.
Yeah. Since this milestone. I was interested in design further on, and I was looking up what kind of designs are there, because at that moment I thought like design is only industrial design. And after a little years of researching and looking what design is really about, I also find like communication design, especially graphic design, illustration, and stuff like that, which I really liked as well, because I drew a lot of stuff. And then I've got like into the graphic design area a little bit, and got back to the industrial design. It was a little bit of A to B, B to A situation. And in school, I had the opportunity to get in the art class, and was able to do my A level in graphic design.
Oh, that's cool.
And at that moment, I already knew that graphic design is more like a hobby, and industrial design, especially at that time, already furniture design is more the passion I have in myself, and I want to do later on.
Why is not graphic design?
I really like graphic design, but the thing about furniture design is you take something in your hand, you make, you go into the workshop, get some wood and just carve something or build something together and test it. And it's more like an all-day use case a little bit, and not like an like art. It's a little bit more disconnected by to the art.
Yeah.
And so I choose the more workshop style.
More hands-on.
More hands-on. That's correct. Yeah. Further on, after my A level, I went to a private art school, the Freie Kunstschule Kiel, and there you get the support for preparing you to go to the art to like a real university. It was 1 year, and where you have like very intense art classes. So like a little bit like school, but more freedom, and the people who teach you are from our fine artists or communication designers, which come to the school and teach you there. And but for me, I was an industrial designer. I used that more like a studio and worked a lot on my own stuff. And also in the end, we had our first group exhibition, which was a very great experience. I had a lot of fun doing that.
What kind of stuff did you do there?
Oh, it's a lot of kitsch. I have to say. I have to be honest.
That's amazing, though. I like I adore kitsch. It's one of my favorite design categories. Like, I don't know if there is like a good translation for kitsch into English. It's like just there is a translation. It's something like unnecessary, like decor objects.
Yeah.
In a weird way, like it's like a derogatory term for things without style.
Yeah, it's also a little bit of an romanticized trashiness.
Yeah,
but cleaned up.
Trashy is like.
Yeah, but trashy is also a little bit of dirty and unfinished and raw stuff, and
so it's like
kitsch is a little bit more shiny.
Yeah, it's like a trashy cliche.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah.
So like the stuff like the ceramic figures you have at your grandparents' place or something.
Yeah, stuff like that. That's a good description of that. And I've did some lamps with like woods from the forest, but just like which have fallen down, and I just took it and wrapped cables around that and stuff like that. So it's I wouldn't publish that work anymore. And also that a lot of sneaker design as well for some reasons. I was interested in sneaker design at that time. Not anymore.
Okay. So then you went into the application process for your bachelor's, I imagine.
Yeah. And there, at that time, I worked a lot every day, and I was preparing my portfolio for that, and was very excited about that, and because I didn't know a lot of art schools and about design, like how it works really, because everything was more like autodidactic stuff. Yeah, and then I was invited to the exam, which was very funny. I took all my Copic markers I collected before and went there. I didn't really use them because Copic markers are looking fancy, but
it's a statement.
It's a statement, yes. You don't use them anymore. You maybe use like warm gray 5, 3, and maybe 1. That's all.
Yeah. For sure. Like at our entrance exam, there was also a guy, Bent, and he had also this huge array of Copic markers.
Yeah.
And he actually used quite some of them because he did like a chameleon or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember we had the first assignment was a redrawing of, or like a recreation of the Strohhalm.
Drinking straw?
Yeah, drinking straw, yeah. Of drinking straw, and because at that time there was like this huge discussion about waste in the environment because of plastic cups and plastic straws.
I think nowadays they're also forbidden, right?
Yeah, after like a few weeks after we had this the exam, they made the law against them.
Yeah,
and this was my the first assignment. I designed a glass cup with a stainless steel top, which you can screw off, and there's a net, a mesh inside, so all the ingredients like ice cubes or mint or something like that will stay in the glass, and you can just drink it like you want to have it, without a straw. And yeah.
Nice.
That was my design, and then we had like this very ridiculous assignment that as well, that we have to build a straw from paper. Well, where I just thought like, why? Just like rolling a tube, and then that's all.
Was it just rolling a tube, or did some people try to figure out all the...
I think some people tried to make the angle on side. I can't remember what I did. It was a little bit too long. It was 2018, I think. And I can't remember that. And the second assignment was... let me think about that. It was... it was an design. The assignment was design an robot, which helps the human but doesn't take the whole work by its own.
Oh, so what was the assignment by Frank?
Yeah, it was by Frank Jacob. Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense. He always had these very, very interesting questions or assignments for the entrance exam.
Yeah.
Like ours was, I think, design a musical instrument for an animal that can only be used by that animal specifically. Like go into their anatomy and any kind of things they do naturally.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
These assignments are interesting.
Yeah, I've designed a drone for construction workers. Because when you see construction workers, especially in the city, when they do something on the rooftop or on the facade, they have these cranes, like this crane where they put something on and then it goes up to the person at the ceiling, and it's kind of a huge system and it's not very flexible. So I designed like a drone which can carry huge stuff and heavy stuff. So you give the drone the for example, the bricks or the ceiling covers, and say to give the voice assignment to that drone, fly to person A. Flies to person A, and then person A can get the construction stuff down and work further on. You can also use it on large scale constructions where stuff has to be transported from building A to building B, and so you don't have to carry it around by yourself. So the drone can do that for you.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was my idea for that assignment, and the third one was a redesign or an object which you have at your body.
Imposter.
Yes, I knew that this assignment was coming because this is an assignment he is doing, I think, every year.
Yeah, it's staple.
Yeah. And I wanted to make. I had a redesign of my hot glue gun in my head, and I thought I would have it with me. And then I looked in my bag, but nope, it wasn't in there. So I had to come up with a new idea and took my Tesa stripe thing.
Like the uproll.
Yeah, but the triangle one.
Oh yeah, the cool ones you also draw later on in the book.
Yeah, this one, yeah. And I redesigned that one in an ergonomic way, and yeah, well, I didn't have the time in the end to make it really good, but because I was had to think about a plan B for a long time,
and you got into the university, which we know now.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. What happened afterwards? Like, how were your first semesters?
The first semester was kind of hard because in the first semester it's divided into 3 parts. And you don't go directly into product design. First of all, you make a lot of abstract shape studies with cardboard, and I didn't like that so much. I didn't have so much fun because I did a lot of that things before my studies, and I was hyped on the real stuff, like real product design stuff, and got a little bit of demotivated. But in the second semester, we started directly with a cooperation, which was kind of cool.
I remember. It was really cool.
It was normally you start in the third or fourth semester with a cooperation, not in the second semester. But yeah, our professor thought it would be a good idea, and so we did it. And oh my god, my nose allergy. Yes. Then we had a cooperation with ELAC, which is an hi-fi company based in Kiel.
Yes.
And they wanted to reintroduce their radio clock from the 70s and ask us if we can help with them with concepts. So everybody of us made 3 concept designs, how a radio clock could look like in 2023 or 2022, I think it was, and so this was the first real product design we've did, and it was interesting. We've learned a lot in the and afterwards about how you have to look on contracts and stuff like that. And also how engineers are looking on product design and what they want or what they think they want, and how designers or like upcoming designers, I mean, we are in the second semester, are looking on stuff and how we want to do stuff. Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I remember it being like a very, very cool project.
Yeah, and we had a lot of different views on radio clocks. Some which were very disconnected to the traditional ones. Some were more connected to the traditional ones. Like mine, I've looked at the product plate of ELAC and wanted to combine some of their product families. So they have like a red line in there, and so.
Cool. Yeah. And what kind of stuff did you do afterwards? Like after, not specifically for that cooperation, but like in other semesters?
After this semester, I got more and more into furniture design, and especially into chairs. I've designed so many chairs in my time, but the third semester, I've designed a laundry rack completely made of wood, so you can if something is broken, you can exchange it quite easily, and or if you're not able to do that by your own, you can go to the carpentry next door and ask them if they can help you with fixing that.
Yeah.
And the fourth,
I remember it was quite cool because you did it like 1-to-1.
Yeah,
because a lot of the time we have like prototypes, but it's like a small scale or a model or whatever. But you did it like. You just build it, like the complete thing. It makes sense with furniture, but still, it was very impressive.
Yeah, but this is something I did in my whole studies. I've never built like a 1 to 10 scale model or something like that for the presentation. I always build it like 1-to-1 because it makes sense for furniture. Yeah. You have to try and experiment with sizes and the angle. You have to sit down or you have to put something on something. So you always need to have a 1-to-1 scale. And I wanted to also learn a lot of stuff about how to construct something. Yeah. And you can only be able to learn that by doing it one by one.
Makes sense.
And because of that, but also because of this, I call it philosophy. I learned a lot of carpentry stuff. So I don't know what I wanted to say. Sorry.
You are like, I remember like jumping further in the future. Like I think for your bachelor thesis, people actually thought you were a carpenter by trade. Yeah. Because you were so deeply into it.
Yeah, I can remember on my colloquium, Frank Jacob was also on my colloquium, and he is actually a carpenter before he went into industrial design, especially interface design. And he thought that I would be in carpenter, and that was like a very nice moment to say,
it's a huge honor.
It's a huge honor because I'm just a DIY carpenter.
Yeah.
And
Nice. So were there any other notable projects upcoming to your bachelor thesis?
There were two projects I would like to show. There is one project, it's one of my favorite projects, the Boy Furniture Group. Like I said, I studied and grew up in Kiel. We're next to the fjord, and I'm a huge fan of looking at the water and there were like we have a lot of buoys on the sea in the fjord, and because of the waves, they have a very special movement, very organic, very It has like an. It is not like a normal up and down. It swings to the left and to the right, to the front, and stuff like that. And this movement was inspiring me to do an stool, which is also inspired by one particular ready-made design from Castiglione, I think his name was. And he did also like a swing stool, and I wanted to do that as well, but with the combination of this buoy. So I invented an wobbly surface, which is not completely round. It's more like a pyramid with rounded with rounded corners, and so when you sit down, you are able to control the movement until a certain point, and over the certain point, the chair is moving you as well, because it's unnatural. It's not unnatural. Uneven. The tilting.
Yeah.
And I also used the idea of ready-made design, used as the base an umbrella stand. But one of the cheap, like the cheap one, which is also in the hardware store next to the monoblock chairs. I kind of like the aesthetic of them, because there is something special with them and in the design, and I like that. Especially the little steps on the top.
It's a very classic item in a weird way.
And also the grips on the sides, which I liked, and so I took them and placed them as a main body at the bottom. In the beginning, it was only for the prototype to look if the how much weight I need in the bottom. But when I was talking with my professor, Martin Posler, we both came to the point that this umbrella stand actually looks pretty nice. And so we decided to go with that one and design everything around this umbrella stand. So making attachments for that one. And from that idea, they grew a complete furniture group. I've made bar stools, low stools. I made a wardrobe, like a standing wardrobe, not like a complete shelving wardrobe. I also did a bench, a table. I had a lot of furniture. That's because I called it a furniture group. And it was supposed to be shown on the Milan Design Week in 2019, I think. 19 or 20, I don't know at the moment. But unfortunately, that was the time where COVID-19 was getting over the word, and unfortunately the Milan Design Week was cancelled in that year, so my show or my furniture wasn't able to be shown on that venue, and that's
kind of sad.
It's kind of sad, but it's okay. But
okay.
This is one of my favorite furniture I've designed at the moment.
Yeah, it's very fun. I remember
and everybody who was sitting down on that one was like, "Oh my god, it's like..."
Yeah, I saw it in the workshop, and you also had like amazing videos of you testing, just wobbling on there.
Yeah, this was very funny.
Yeah. Okay, and then I think you also had a cooperation with the museum.
Yes, that was in the 5th semester where we had the It was the fifth semester with Frank Jacob, and this is normally the interface semester at the Mathelius. We had this cooperation with the Zoological Museum in Kiel. They've got a dome screen, which is like a 2-meter bowl screen, and they wanted us to integrate this screen in a museum context and in a digital learning way. So my group, we were 3 people, Alison Thiel, US Perch, and me. And we developed a system for their bug collection. They have like one of the huge, I think it's the most huge,
biggest,
the biggest. Thank you. Oh my god, the biggest collection of bugs in Europe, I think, and
it's ginormous.
Yeah, it's huge. But because of the size and also how important this collection is, they don't show it so often. So nobody is able to have a look on them or examine them from near. So we wanted to get the people in touch with that collection, and with getting in touch, we mean it like in a literary way. We designed a controller which helps you moving through a digital world. It was a garden where all the bugs were living. And you're walking around this garden and searching for the bugs, and if you find one, you can pick them up, because the controller has a soft body made of silicon and pressure sensors. So you have a real the feeling of picking something small up, because the diameter of the controller was 30 millimeters. So it's not that big, but you have like this movement in your hand, and on the screen you're picking also the bug up, and then you can examine it and look from all the angles, and informations are popping up. So you can get all the informations by your own, and also in a very playful way. It's more like a gamification of the examining of the bugs.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was a very fun project.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
And then comes your thesis. What did you do for the thesis?
I wanted to do, of course, I wanted to do furniture, but I didn't know really what kind of furniture I wanted to do, and so I thought it would be a nice way around to make a furniture system. But most of the furniture systems on the market are dedicated to one use. Case you have like shelving racks, which you can build up like you want, like string, or the new DSH from Richard Lampert. There are thousands of ones, or like Dieter Rams, the 606, I think. There are a lot of different use cases for them as well. You can put a desk on that, but it's always a shelf. But I wanted to have a furniture system which is able to be used in multiple rooms as well. Like, because I mean our living room is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, or like the space to live on or build new buildings. So in the future, I think our apartments has to be smaller, has to become smaller. Otherwise, we're going to have a big problem. So I designed this system to work in different sizes of apartments, and also in different use cases. So if you have a shelf, and in the next apartment you're going, the shelf is too big. So you have two options. You can resize your shelf unit, or you can take the parts apart. You can take it apart and build something new out of it. So
nice.
it's more like a Lego, like Lego. So I designed a system which can be a huge wall shelf, but it also can be a coffee table. It also can be a chair or a stool. It just depends on what the user is doing with the possibilities I give them.
Yeah.
And this system is basically made out of 4 parts. Sorry. I have 3 different sizes of board units, of shelving boards, which can be the wall, but also the floor or the ceiling of the boxes. So you can build up a skeleton of the unit you want. So you have like this construction, and then you have the add-ons. The add-ons are backrests to create a chair or a bench. Then I have shelving boards, so you can subdivide the units. I also have feet in 2 different sizes, a slider and a feet actually, to use in a different height. And I also have upholstery for the boards, and a lot of stuff that I have designed around that. And one of my most important points on the checklist for that shelf was that I wanted to have it in a circular economy, because I was in this rethinking a furniture system, so I wanted to have the new economy style, which we will be. We have to use that at a certain point.
For sure.
So I designed it that way that all the metal parts are raw; they are not lacquered or something like that. So the recycling process of them won't pollute the new product. And to get to that point, every metal part has to be detachable from the wooden parts. Yeah. So everything is with screws, and you can unscrew it and use it in a new model as well, in a reusing model, or in a recycled model. And cool. The wooden parts are all treated with non-hazard oil. So if anything is broken, you can chop the board to the smaller size and put in the connectors again, or you can bring it to the carpenter or something, and they can reuse it in a new furniture they want to for client, or you can throw it in the trash as well. And
because there's no toxic paint.
There's no toxic paint on that, and if it if it's got shredded and used in a new board like MDF or OSB, it's not polluting the new material. Because you only there's a registration how much polluted material you can use in such a board.
Like we talked about, it's like a huge success. There is like a professor thinking you're a carpenter and all of that. So where did you go from there?
After my studies, I was in a little bit of a hole. I didn't know where I want to go, and sent out a lot of applications. Got a lot of decline, a lot of no's back or nothing back. But this is normal as a upcoming designer or product developer. So I went to the 3 Days of Design Festival in Copenhagen. It's a huge furniture design festival in the whole city are showrooms open where everybody can go in and everybody is welcome, from students to creative directors, product developers, everybody, or just furniture enthusiasts are invited to come there and look at the new stuff which is launched there. And I went to a lot of companies and also to Please Wait to Be Seated. It's a furniture company based in Copenhagen, straight in the center. They had a showroom next to the Marmorkirken.
Marmorkirken?
Yeah, it's the church in front of the palace.
Oh.
So I was in a very historical building there, and I've got in touch with Thomas Ibsen. He is the creative director, and I just got in a chat with him and showed him my portfolio and what I'm doing and who I am. Yeah, and I think 3 months or 6 months later, I've got a call from him where he asked me when I want to start as a product developer at his company, but only an internship for 6 months. And after 6 months, he asked me if I would like to extend my internship until the next 3 years of design. And after that as well, we designed the new showroom. They are opening it, I think, in the September this year. And also the exhibition of this year's 3 days of design, which were 10 days before this interview.
Damn.
Yeah. It was a very, very cool time. I really enjoy Copenhagen. It's a wonderful city, and I had a lot of fun with the company. I learned a lot, and yeah, I worked as a product developer there, which I didn't know I can work as a product developer because in my studies, everybody was telling you are going to be a designer, but nobody is telling you that there's more than just the designer. There's also like the product developer.
Yes, a lot
of possibilities you can be. You can take when you're industrial design.
For sure, because like you also have like, in comparison to many other design fields, you have more of the technical skills.
Yeah.
So you can also go into like just manufacturing or just into CGI stuff or something. Like there's so many possibilities, and I think it's interesting to see, especially in this university, that there's a lot of people taking different ways. Yeah.
And but everybody's taking their ways on their own, and they are not led by a professor who is saying like, you can do that, or that, or that, or that. Nobody's writing you down which possibilities you have. Everybody's just showing you one possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a little bit of sad because they're...
Yeah, maybe it would be very beneficial for people to have like a list or something, or like some kind of resources, and see what people are going into, like very different directions. That's originally, this is one of the reasons I want to do this podcast.
Yeah.
Because there's more life with design than just industrial design or just being a designer. Like there's also people just working with designers or working in like very, very different fields, but originally they came from design.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like maybe someday when there's like more things happening and more interviews with like more experienced people that went into like very different directions in their time, maybe we can do like a compilation of that for people to have like a good overview of what is possible.
Yeah, but I think that this should be also more taught in the university, because you get like a very illusion way of looking on design.
Yeah, it's not that broad.
It's very straightforward for one direction, and this is like the industrial designer or the furniture designer, or like the designer. But everybody is telling you will find a job. You will find a job. You won't have problems. But nobody's telling you that as a furniture designer, especially, you design something on your own, send that to thousands of creative directors, and maybe one is picking your design, and then they will develop it from that point.
Yeah, it's much
But the
more like
payment-
an author or something.
But you will get, at that point you won't get paid. You will get paid by percentage of the selling product.
Yeah.
So when you're an upcoming designer, you're lucky when you get 1% of the selling point, of the selling price, and you need a lot of products on the market until you can live from that.
Yeah.
And this is something nobody's telling you. Everybody's just telling you, you find a job and you will get paid. But it's not true.
Yeah, it's a very different field. Like once you decide or know you don't want to go to this like classic agency route,
Yeah,
like there is a lot of possibilities aside that, but it's
course.
not what you hear about.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we already talked about what is coming up for you now. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I sent my application for the master's degree in medical design at the Maltesius Academy of Fine Arts and Design.
It's now a University of Fine Arts.
Yeah, oh yeah.
No, it was just called by our translator, Colin, if you're seeing this, that it's the university and people still say it wrong. He was infuriated by it.
Yeah, and I wanted to go into medical design because the medical design at the Maltesius is a mixture out of medical product development or medical product design and social design, because a lot of projects are about the human in the city and about public areas, how we can use them, how we can rethink the city.
Yeah.
And this is my second passion next to furniture design. And I want to get a view in that as well.
Yeah.
And look for on what's coming next.
Let's see. You talked about how your process is very much like hands-on, creating like one-to-one prototypes and also sketching. What is your process like nowadays?
A lot of my inspiration I've got from my daily view on city or on the city or on animals, especially insects, because I think like insects are like the most coolest animals from the shape and from the abilities. There are so many different shapes, from thin to thick. There's everything in. And also the water is still a huge inspiration for me. And my working process is that I sketch in the morning most of the time and just sketch everything which comes to my mind. If it makes sense or not, I sketch it. For example, I love skating, old school skating bowls or pools. There are so many names for them. It's originally from the US, where they had like pools which were unused in the 70s, I think. They have a very particular tile on the top. I like the shape of that. And I just sketch those also in my sketchbook, and I love to take a look through my sketchbook and get inspired by them again. And because I'm sketching them freehand and not perfectly in perspective or something like that, I get a new perspective on objects.
Yeah.
And from that, I develop something new in my head and sketch it again, and until I'm on a point where I say, oh my God, this looks like something I can use. Or I just have a shape in my head and just sketch it like my tube tap table, which is...
We can show it. Wait a second.
Which is... this is the top view, and this is the side view. And I like this wobbliness, which is also very trendy at the moment. And yeah, it's something I I've got interested and just sketch it, and I repeat it until to the point where I think the proportions are good, and then I go into 3D.
Yeah.
And model it, and then I render it out and look if it's looking good from perspective, and then I start and go to the workshop and make a prototype of that, or like mock-up, and going back to forth. At the moment I don't have a workshop, so it's only 3D and sketching, but I'm looking forward to getting a workshop again, so I can start working with that again.
Yeah. You have like a favorite project?
My all-time favorite is the Boys Duel, and then there's one series I have made, the Kant series, which is an homage to Marcel Breuer and the Freischwinger. Then there's also the Wing, I've called it, and this is a combination out of a chair in the middle of the table with like huge armrest and very bold design, where everything is very large and but thin.
You learn a lot on your way.
Yeah, it's obviously.
And you offer some advice to upcoming designers like you were before, or something that helped you, that might help them?
There's one thing I can say: if you're a furniture designer or want to go into furniture design, go to the 3 Days of Design Festival. Go to the companies there and ask for the creative director or something like that. The creative directors getting so many emails a day where people are asking for apprenticeship. They only see like the portfolio. Nobody's seeing you as a person. So if you go on those festivals and ask for creative directors, because most of the time the creative directors are somewhere, just ask them for internship or for 5 minutes of their time. I mean, they are also just humans, and if they say no, don't be disappointed. I sent so many emails, nobody replied. One show, ask creative directors. I've got my internship over that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's pretty good advice.
Yeah.
And do you have any kind of like books or things that helped you that you can recommend?
The huge white book from Vitra, where they have the whole furniture design history. Also from Tasche or Taschen, the 1000 chair book, which I like as well. But they are kind of basic. I use them all sometimes as a creative inspiration as well, to look what kind of radical ways somebody was thinking about furniture.
Yeah.
Because this is like, I think, the most interesting part. I mean, everybody knew the Danish design classics. Everybody knew that.
Yeah.
Or like Charles and Ray Eames, everybody knew these shapes, but if you want to create something new or get a new perspective on something, then you have to go around them and go to the next point where they more like the radical design is happening, or the extraordinary stuff is. On this way, I also found the chair from Castiglioni, which inspired me to do the boys' chair.
The rapid fire questions. So just answer them in the fastest manner possible, and don't try to think about it too much. Is there life balance in design?
Life balance in design? Not that much.
Favorite design?
The chair, which was the door opener to furniture design for me. The plywood chair from Johnson Ray.
Favorite product?
I'm really sad about that my old smartphone is not working anymore. It is the Google Pixel 4a. It's, I think, one of the most beautiful smartphones on the market, because it's so minimalistic. Not only from the design, also from the technical part, because iPhones are always so overloaded by technology and nobody is really using that.
Role of technology in your process?
Not that much.
3 words to describe your style.
Bold, minimalistic, yellow.
How do you handle criticism on your design?
Very well. Otherwise, I don't get feedback.
How do you stay updated on design trends?
Instagram, Pinterest, and fairs.
One advice you wish you have had received?
Being a furniture designer is hard. You don't get paid.
Favorite design tool?
The sketchbook app on my Samsung. tablet.
Prioritizing functionality or visual design?
Functionality.
And biggest misconceptions about design?
Designers aren't artists. They are like we work creatively, yes, but it is more like a craftsmanship than like being a fine artist or something like that.
And ultimate design goal or dream project?
Having an own furniture design studio where I can do local produced furniture with my friends.
That's cool.
That's the ultimate goal.
All right. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it.
Thank you.
Cool.